I don't ever want to not be in a position of learning because there's still the older you get, the
Mhm.
more you know that you don't know nothing, you know?
Exact-
However, I also recognize that I've been through some things
Right,
and I know some stuff,
right.
and life has taught me a lot. And that wisdom is expected, especially in our culture, to be passed on.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Unapologetically 50 Plus, where we talk about the real, the raw, and rewarding experiences of Black women 50 and beyond. So today we are going to be talking about how Black women, we need to rest our minds. We're going to focus on clearing out mental clutter, sharpening our focus, and finding the calm in the chaos. But before we get started, I have one huge favor to ask. If you find any value or enjoy our content, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Also, leave a comment and let YouTube know you want more of our content. You are also helping us build this community. Thank you. We truly appreciate your support. All right, now let me bring on my guests and let's get this conversation started. All right, everyone. So we are going to get started on our topic about Black women, resting your mind, and what are some tips to unlock peace and just focus. And I have one of my favorite ladies. We have Miss, well, let me say it right, Reverend Dr. Angela B. Martin.
Yeah, yeah.
Ah, yeah. So thank
Heavy
you.
on the Angela.
They're heavy on the Angelas. That's right.
Yes.
So, thank you for coming on again. I
Thank you for
always, I
having
always
me.
love when you come on because
It's
you're just
always a good
so
time.
full of energy and I just love your energy. So, I wanted to talk about this particular topic because I
Mhm.
know, and I can speak for me, I'm always having things running in my head. It just seems like I'm always thinking, I'm always like, okay, how can I make this better? How, whatever. And I think this is a good time, especially, and I know you're not even in the US. You're in beautiful Mexico, so you don't have to deal with this craziness.
At least I try not to.
You try, well, yeah, you try not to, but because I'm sure you still hear the news here and there, and but you're not here. Listen, look at she gonna. But so since you're not having to actually deal with this and not but I'm sure you still have people in the United States that you keep in contact with.
Mhm.
My first question would be is what advice would you give women who are just, their minds are just racing? Everything is just, going full force because we are dealing with this craziness in this climate.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
especially as Black women, I'm sure you've heard of the DEI has gone away and right,
DIE'd.
DIE'd, right.
Mhm,
So,
mhm.
I mean, what would be some of the things or some of the ways that you would help us to just kind of rest our mind?
First off, for us as Black women, this is what we do, oddly enough. I mean, this is what we've always had to struggle. So for me, it's just a constant reminder of we're in a sense built for this in a way
Okay.
because
Okay.
we've had that passed generationally from our mothers, 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 mothers who's had to endure this and much worse.
Right.
So I always have to ground myself in you were built from this. Your ancestors literally came out of this soil. It's
Mm.
in your DNA, it's in your blood. So first off, you got this, you're going to be okay. It's a mantra. Woo.
Exactly. Exactly.
But you're going to be okay, 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 okay.
Right.
But then what I loved about this election cycle, or at least the aftermath of this
Hmm.
election cycle,
Hmm.
was in social media, you kept seeing a lot of Black women who decided to prioritize self-care.
Yes.
and came out of this past election cycle going, you know what?
Right. It's like
Y'all got
deuces.
this.
Right. We're
I'm gonna be
done.
over here with
Right.
a cool beverage,
Right.
taking care of myself.
Right.
And
Right.
in a sense, that felt very empowering. It felt very liberating. It felt freeing. It felt, in a way, just kind of giving the hug to yourself that you
Right.
needed,
Right.
And I think we as Black women don't do that enough
Right.
to kind of stop and just, you know,
Right.
girl,
Right. Give yourself some love.
give yourself
Exactly.
some love. Yeah. And so for 2025 in particular, other years in the past, but 2025 in particular, I'm being more cognizant and aware of moments and times that I need to pull away and
Yeah.
do some self-care,
Right.
that I need to check in with myself. How are you feeling? So, I mean, sometimes I have to turn off the news because as an activist, in fighting and social justice,
Right.
when you start to see the things that were keeping you up at night coming to fruition, it's like,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So
And I
sometimes
think
I deliberately have to pull
pull
away
back.
to just
Yeah.
kind of gather myself and really take care of myself to make sure let's not let this become overwhelming. Turn off the TV. Let's
Right.
listen to some music, or let's
Let's
do something
calm. Yeah.
that fills your spirit.
Right. And I
Yeah,
think 2025, like you said, it really was, we kept trying to say, as Black women, especially as Black women who are of a certain age, we we really had we really kept thinking, okay, is this going to get better? Is it going to get better? We're doing everything we can do as Black women by
right,
voting or, going out there and doing whatever we can do.
right.
Um, but then finally, when 2025 hit, and what did it say? The fit hit the sham.
Yeah, yeah. Right. The F
um,
and the A, they hit the F and the O.
right. We finally just we finally realized it's time to take care of us.
Right.
And it's sad that it had to get to this point because we had so much hope and so much faith in the
Yeah,
system.
yeah,
But we see where that landed us. And then again, the constant thinking, how can we make it better? And like I was telling my husband, is it really, and some people might not agree with this, but is it really our responsibility to make it better? We didn't
right,
cause this problem.
right,
So why
right,
are we trying to figure out, why are we trying to overwork our brains to
right.
try and figure out how to make this better? We can't make it better,
Right, right. And
you
that's the
know?
piece of Black womanhood
Right,
that we carry from our ancestors, because our foremothers they always had that communal mindset.
right.
If I got a pot of beans and I got enough to feed my family, but the kid next door
Yeah.
doesn't have any food, I'm going to share my beans with you. I don't have much, but I'm going to share that with
What
you.
I have
And that's
right.
kind of always been, at least for African Americans, that's been our cultural mindset,
Right,
that we
right,
look out. I'm not going to just look out for myself. I'm looking out for everybody.
right.
So when
Community.
we're talking policing, when we're talking economics, we're talking those types of things, I'm not just looking out for my pocket. I'm looking out for your pocket.
Right,
I'm going the DEI and as well as ICE coming in to raid the community. They're going to come for me, but they're looking for you,
right, right,
Hispanics and Latinos and all that. They're
right,
looking for you there, and they're going to
right,
be trying to put their neck, their knee on your neck.
right,
And
right.
so I'm trying to prevent the thing. And then when it happens, and some of us felt betrayed a little bit in terms
Yeah.
of, is that we told you,
Right. We tried to told
we
you.
tried to tell you.
Right.
And you didn't listen
You
to
didn't
us.
listen. Right. And that's why I said
No,
it's
okay.
no longer
I-
it's no longer our, and again, some people might not agree with this.
Right,
It's no longer our fight. We tried
right,
and we're
right,
tired, and we're just gonna, like you said, sit back, get our own heads together, figure out, okay, what is our next step?
Right.
Is our step going to stay here? You know, some of us are like, nope, I'm leaving the country. And
Yeah.
some people will stay, but
Hmm.
don't stay don't stay just to fight because
Right.
you're just putting yourself in an early grave,
Right. Right.
and that's not helping anybody.
Yeah. And as for stress for Black women, I don't think we prioritize or take that even seriously. We're like, what? Stress? What?
Right.
I
Right.
don't know what that is. Yeah, I'm working two jobs and a single parent and have a brother that's strung out on drugs and, and had
All the
to,
things.
all
Yeah.
kinds of things that are happening. And we just go, what
Right.
stress?
Right. Right. Yeah, our mind is saying what's stress, but our body is saying, okay, you're going to eventually listen. You
Right.
either going to take it seriously now, or your body says we're going to make you sit down
Right.
and rest.
Right.
So
And stress kills. Stress kills.
yeah, it does. It does.
Mhm.
So what are some common sources of mental clutter? That's what I'll call it, that uniquely affect Black women. We,
That voice that's in the head of the things I gotta do, the things I should do, the worry about this, the preemptive planning that
yeah.
you need to take care of because Ray Ray doesn't have is going to lose that job and his child support is already behind and he's going to come after me, so let me set aside some money because I know I'm going to have to help him with that baby and
Yeah. Right.
those types of things that exist in our families and
Right.
exist in our daily lives that constantly have a back conversation going on in your head all the time.
All the time.
And I think I don't know if we even recognize
Right.
that that's happening, that that's going on, that we're getting that kind of constant chatter in our
Right.
head, you know?
Right. Or
Uh,
the chatter that you're not doing enough, even
right.
though
Huh.
you're pushing yourself to your limits, but you're
You're
not
not
doing
doing
enough.
enough. You're not doing it good enough.
Right.
You're not, you could have
Oh,
done more, or
right.
you did too much. You're doing too much, or, it's,
Right. So your mind really never has a chance to rest. I know even when I'm trying to sleep, I have to physically tell myself, turn it off. And of course, it
Mhm.
doesn't happen like that.
Right, right,
But I mean, luckily with meditation that I've been doing throughout the years, it helps.
right,
But you have to be cognizant of that to, okay, it's time for me to turn off my mind. All
right.
this mental clutter that's going on in my mind, I can't get, adequate sleep, which affects my health, which affects my mood, all
Mhm.
the things, which affects my weight, all
Right,
the things.
right,
So it's trying to learn to turn off that chatter, as you call it, that mental
right.
clutter, in order just to get real sleep, that real deep, good sleep that we need.
Oh my gosh. And I don't practice like I'm not heavy into yoga and meditation and all of the realms that
Right.
other people exist in that. But
Mhm.
what I did take when I began looking into it, I did take something away from it in terms of quieting the monkey mind.
Mm.
And oh my gosh, if you even just do that as an exercise, to just try to sit and be still and quiet your mind, just tell
Yeah.
your
Right. Shh.
and
Stop talking.
the thoughts that just still shut up. Okay, okay,
Right.
okay, okay, here we go. We try this again. Ah,
Right.
what are you making for dinner tonight? What? Okay, stop, be quiet. We're not talking about dinner. We're talking about we're quieting our mind. Okay, quiet. What was that noise? Who's down there? What are they doing? It's like,
Exactly. Exactly.
and that was like a real like, oh wow, yeah, it is really hard to quiet that
Right.
mind.
To
Just get it
quiet it.
to shh, be quiet. Shh. Let's just
Yeah.
sit.
Let's just sit and try and enjoy the peace.
Hmm.
And I know for me, when I'm able to finally quiet my mind, which is only seconds here and there, but I can just feel a release in my whole body. I can just feel my whole body just
Yeah,
like, oh, that feels
yeah,
really good. Otherwise, it's always tense inside. And I'm like, you know what?
yeah.
I've got to get better at letting excuse me, stuff go.
Yeah, right.
I don't want to curse in front of the reverend.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's so hard, but it is a practice,
Yeah, it is a practice.
it is a
It is a
practice
practice.
that it's not going to happen overnight, but
Mhm.
once you're able to at least get even a few minutes of your mind resting, then you can really feel how it changes in your body and how your
One of
body
the ways that I
starts
try
to.
to ground and center myself in my body as I'm
Hmm.
going to sleep or trying to go to sleep is,
Hmm.
particularly if I've had a stressful day,
Yeah.
I'll get in the bed and I try to make a loving space in my bed,
Hmm.
besides Lamar, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I try to make it so that, I'm putting on my comfy pajamas or those nice softs,
Yeah.
or the bed
Yeah.
that feels very warm and inviting and all that kind of stuff. And as soon as I get
Oh,
in, I tense the entire body up and squeeze the entire body as hard as I can.
yeah.
And then from the head down, I try to release the.
Oh,
So
each part of
instead,
your
my neck
body.
is like this, and then I'm taking the neck down and just completely relaxing while my arms are still like this, and then I'm
Mm,
bringing that down and
yes.
and just gradually from head to
Yeah.
toe,
Okay.
relaxing my body till the point that when it gets down to the toes, I'm just all in the bed like a like silk
Yeah.
putty.
Oh,
Oh,
that's a good idea. I never th I've heard of doing like your hands and releasing that, but the whole body, I'm
the
gonna
whole
try that.
body,
I'm gonna
the
try
whole
that.
body. Because I have found that we tend to hold more of the stress in our body than we really recognize.
Yes. Hmm.
And you don't even realize that you're doing that or that you're
Right.
tensing up or that are holding your body in a particular way or,
Right.
tend to gravitate. And then if you bring chiropractic procedures into it, you
Oh,
tend to lean over to the side to
right.
compensate for this side and all that kind of stuff. And so it's really just sometimes as Black women, we just need to get in touch with our physical body to
Yes.
feel what we're
Yes.
feeling and then notice what we're feeling
Right.
and
Acknowledge
take
it.
care of that
And then,
feeling,
right.
you
Right.
know?
Don't just brush it to the side and say, that's just that.
Right.
I don't have time to deal with that today. Yes, you do.
Exactly.
You have
Exactly.
time to deal with it, and you
Exactly.
need to make time because you should
Putting
be
on your
first
life,
priority.
your life best and your mask first
Exactly.
before you
Exactly.
help other people. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. So we you kind of touched upon it when you're talking about even the releasing. To me, that's a mindfulness technique. So how can
Mhm.
mindfulness practices be adapted to resonate more deeply with the cultural experience of Black women?
Mm. Oh, I don't think we prioritize it, really.
Mm.
Honestly, I don't think we prioritize it. The other day, I happened to be going out on my patio, or we have
Hmm.
a third floor patio
Hmm.
at our house, and I was actually sweeping because dust and stuff and the dogs playing in a flower pot got all over the. And so I come out, and I'm sweeping the dust and dirt and, putting it in a dustpan. And there was a breeze that was blowing, just
Mm.
a really cool breeze. Here in central Mexico, in Querétaro, the weather is very, even though it's winter, it was like 80 degrees. And the sun was shining, and I felt that just took time to stop because
Yeah.
I was feeling kind of just annoyed because I had just cleaned that like earlier that day.
And the dog said, I don't care, Mom.
Okay. And it
The
made a
dog is
complete
mad.
mess all over there. I was like, I just cleaned this. Ah, which is a Black woman thing. I
Right.
just did this.
Right.
Now here I am having to clean up this mess
Again.
again, and I'm cleaning up. And then I felt the breeze, and it just kind of reminded me, hey, stop.
Stop. It's not that
Feel that
serious.
breeze on your
Yeah.
face. Feel that breeze. And it's just a mindfulness just to
Yeah.
stop and just smell the air and just release some, breathe
Release
in
that
heavily
tension.
and breathe
Yeah.
out and feel the warmth. Just it's like taking a moment to be present
Yes.
in the
That's
moment,
it. Take them to be present.
to be
Perfect.
present.
Yes.
Because it's so easy for me to already have rushed ahead with my day and
Yeah.
planning the things that have to get done later on that day, or later on that week, or I'm working on this, or I'm in the process of writing a book right now, and so I'm
Oh, congratulations.
creating. chapter 13 and I'm, starting out, okay, yeah, I want to start it like this. And these dogs. And it's easy to not be present
Yes.
in the moment and
In the
not,
moment.
and
Yes.
sometimes just even with our kids, they
Yes. Oh, I
kids can
know. I know.
see this is Benjamin and Gabby right here. You see
Oh,
that?
that's
That's
all you got, see?
that's
Now you see all
the
this.
Miss
You
Clairol. That's all you see.
oh
But I remember even when they were small and, kids do their thing and all that kind of stuff, but just really trying to be intentional about hugging and holding them and,
yeah.
I smell
Smelling
your
them.
little
Yeah.
hand,
While they still smell good.
they do smell good, little rugrats, but they do smell good. But just being present with them
Yeah.
because, God has only given them to me for this a brief amount of time for
Yeah.
my care of them.
Yeah.
Then I release them off into the world. And so I only have this time in this moment, this special time in this moment to
Yeah.
really take this in and breathe
Yeah.
and hold and feel and all that kind of
Right.
stuff. I mean,
And
tomorrow is not promised. So
exactly. And I
this
think
may be my last day of
you're
breathing,
right.
holding, touching, feeling you. So
Yeah. Yeah. And
I
we
try
don't,
to stay present.
right.
And-
And we don't take enough time to stay present because our mind is always thinking of the future
right.
or, you know, thinking about, okay, what I could have done better in the past instead of
Hmm.
focusing on the here and now. Because even right now, my brain, I'm telling my brain, focus. Don't think
Right.
about what you got to do at 1 o'clock. Focus
Right.
right
Right.
now. Enjoy this conversation that I'm having with Angela.
Right. Right.
That's a great
Right.
name.
The best.
It is. Focus on what we're talking about now.
Hmm.
And yeah, we just got to get better about being in the present and enjoying what's going on in the present. And again, that's a means of being mindful and making sure we're decluttering.
Right.
We're getting all the nonsense out and
Right.
just enjoying where we are right now in this moment. When I was doing a fitness competition way back when, the one thing that my coach would say is enjoy the process. So
Mm-hmm.
enjoying the process means you're in the moment.
Right.
You're at this very moment, you're doing, you're running 4 miles. Maybe some people won't enjoy that process, but enjoy the process and not worry about what is at the end of that road. Enjoy
Right.
the here and now. So
Right.
yes, that's very much. And we know, and also things like for some of us, dancing or doing poetry is our way of decluttering, our way of being in the moment,
Hmm.
and like we talked about meditation, and even guided imagery. I haven't tried that, but I'd like to try guided imagery, just to focus on what's in front of me, and not worry about anything else.
Right.
And that also, I think, would strengthens the mind. I'm sure there are studies out there that, when you're really heavily into meditation or guided imagery, that, different energies are sparking in the mind. So
For sure.
we really have to focus on what works for each of us when it comes to being in the present and making sure that we are just thinking about what's going on right now.
Right. One of the ways I used to quiet the monkey mind and try to just relax into a state there to fall asleep would be I love to travel. I love to travel.
Yeah.
So I would get in bed, and after I've done the clenching and relaxed and released, I say to myself, where are we going tonight? And so I
Okay.
close my eyes and I imagine I'm going to Bali. I've never been to Bali
Hmm.
yet, but I imagine, well, what does it feel like? Where are you? Where are you? I'm
Hmm.
in a beautiful rain shower. That's an outdoor, rain shower that's
Yeah.
lush and green. And then my imagination is painting these pictures and these beautiful, and I'm imagining feeling the rain, the coolness,
Right.
all that kind of stuff. And as you just keep, it can go deep. You go, okay, and I'm wearing a bathing suit, and
All the
it's
things.
all the
Yeah.
things, all the things. But
Guided imagery. Yes.
eventually, I've fallen asleep, and I don't even remember. Like, oh yeah, what was I thinking? Oh yeah,
That's yeah,
it
that's
puts me asleep.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, hon.
No, 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 that's it.
I was going to say, yeah, I mean, that's the perfect example of guided imagery.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't
Hmm.
have to be, somebody else's image. You
Yeah,
make up your own.
make
You
up your own.
make up your own because also you think about it, when they talk about thoughts become things.
Right,
If you're constantly thinking of the negative, if you're constantly having that chatter in your
right,
head, but it's negative chatter, well,
right.
that's going to eventually come to fruition.
It's like water in the Grand Canyon.
Yeah,
That water, that little singular thought can channel its way deeply
right,
and bury into making this huge canyon,
right,
just that little innocent water. So
right.
you do have to police those thoughts often.
You do, and it's not easy, but if you're aware of it, and even if you can only make a conscious effort once a week,
Right,
you're okay, that thought, okay, get it out. Let's focus on something else.
right,
Eventually, over time with practice, you'll be
right.
able to say, okay, I feel that thought, or I know that thought's about to come up. Nope. And make it disappear,
Hmm.
so, but it again, it takes practice. It's not something that's
It
going to
does.
happen
It
overnight
does.
at all.
Right.
So we were talking about your little art over there, your whole, all your
My
craft,
happy place.
your happy place.
My happy
So,
place.
what ways can art, I'm not even going to say poetry. I mean, you said you're writing a book. It might not be poetry, but writing, knitting, whatever your art, whatever your craft is, how can that serve as a tool for mental declutter? Because we were talking about this before we came on, and you were
Mhm.
talking about how that's your happy place. So how
It's
does
my
that
happy
help
place.
you, just relax your mind and not worry about all the other nonsense that's going on?
Yeah, because when Lamar and I were talking about moving and leaving the United States, and this was for us going to be a permanent move. It wasn't one that we were gonna, oh yeah, we're gonna just put our stuff in storage and we're gonna bop around for a couple of years and then, or maybe a
Yeah.
couple of months and just
Right.
kind of feel it out and all that kind of stuff. We knew this was a permanent move. We're picking up our home base and putting it now
Yeah.
in Mexico. And when we were crafting or imagining the kind of life that we wanted and preparing for retirement, things like that, one of the main things that we definitely, both of us were right here on was having the things that our hobbies, the things that we love to do with us. Because if I imagine when I get retired one day, I would love to just get up and after I've had my morning coffee and kind of done my little morning routine, I want to be able to go and sit in my craft room or sit on a terrace and read from my books and things like that. So those were two very important components that we
Mhm.
came with us. For both of us, we have hobbies that we've cultivated for decades, I
Yeah.
would even say. And so this, as you see in here, this clutter, this organized clutter, um, is a culmination of that. It's
Yeah.
it's my heat press, my embroidery machine, my cutter, my hat press, my
Right.
all of my embroideries, my yarns for knitting and crocheting. It's
Right.
the all of my pens and pencils and stamping and all of the things that I
Right.
love to do that just
Mhm.
make me happy.
Right.
And so that's why this room became my happy place because it's my craft space. It's my little corner. It started off maybe 20 years ago as a corner of the house because,
Yeah.
with
Right.
kids, sometimes that's all you get.
That's all you get.
It's just the corner. Just the corner or just a side of the dining room table, That, but hey, if that's what you got, that's what you work with.
Right. Right.
And eventually you can create a space in your home where it's peaceful, where you create a positive, loving space. So I try to do things here in this particular room of our house
Yeah.
that's just for me.
That's
There's
just for
just
you.
things that I like,
Yeah.
smells that I like, candles of
Right.
aromas that I love, all my snacks that I love. that I have to fight the kids and Lamar off of. No, I bought this for my room, for my snacks.
Right.
Okay. But it's a space that I can create and that I escape to
Mm,
often. And in every home that we've had, I've tried to have a little craft space
yeah.
that I can escape to, even if it's just to come sit, just to sit
Yeah.
in the chair
Just to
and
sit
just to be
and
in that
close your
space.
door and put that do not disturb sign up.
They already know. They already know. You
When
saw the
mom
door
closes the
close,
door,
and you
don't
better be
knock on it.
bleeding.
Right. Something better be broken or there's some blood somewhere. But
And did you call your daddy first? It's, it's just like that. It really is like
exactly.
that. When you see that door close, okay, what?
Right.
What?
Right.
Because it's for, and Lamar already knows, it's for me and for him. I know when he closes his door, that okay.
Right. Right. Don't go knocking. He'll be out soon enough.
It's not important. I'll wait until he comes out,
Exactly.
because that's
Exactly.
just his space to close the door and just kind of be and exist
Be.
in a place that is peaceful and tranquil
Right.
and loving to yourself and
Yeah.
just your happy place.
Right.
Mhm.
And like you said, just to be able to be, not
Yeah.
have to think about anybody else's needs, not have
Mhm.
to think about, okay, what's next, but just a space for you to
Right.
be.
It's the
Um,
place I play the music I like. It's the place
exactly.
that,
No
I
compromising. No
no,
compromising.
all the music I like and as loud as I want,
And And I think that's another thing, because I know you and Lamar have been married for a while. And I think sometimes we forget as married folks that we are also individuals and
Yeah.
we need our individual time.
Yes.
Yes, I love being with you. And yes, I want to, that I have a great time, but sometimes I just need to be Angela
Right.
and not have to worry about anybody else's feelings,
Right.
even if it's only for 10 minutes, just to be selfish and to relax my own mind and not worry about am I hurting somebody's feelings or,
Hmm.
what's going on out there. No, I just have a chance to, because this is my space, just
Right.
to be here and be, just be.
Yes. One of Lamar's things is to build and race remote control nitro cars.
Yeah.
That's his passion, that's his hobby, that's what he loves to do.
Yeah.
And that's also one of the reasons we're here in Querétaro because they have a track where they do races, international races and things like that. And it's not too far from our home.
Nice.
And that's where he is right now. He is
Okay.
actually, they're doing today is qualifying and tomorrow is actually the big race.
Okay.
So for him, and he's been preparing all month for this race. He's been making sure his cars are in order and things like that.
Yeah.
I give him his space to let him
Yes.
do that thing that he loves because I know that when he's done the thing that he loves and the hobby that he's enjoyed, he comes back to me as a much happier person,
Exactly.
as a much happier, grounded person. And
Exactly.
it makes me happy to see him smiling like that,
Right.
and he's doing his thing. And even though I could be like, oh, well, you didn't invite me to go, but I don't,
But that's,
I know that this is your thing.
that's your thing. And
That's
you're
your
right. And
thing.
that's what strengthens and keeps the relationship. And I know we're not talking about relationships, but it keeps the relationship
Yeah.
thriving.
Yeah.
It
And
definitely,
he does the
definitely.
same for me. He does the
Exactly.
same for me.
Exactly. Exactly.
And I'll invite him into my craft world, and he'll sometimes even help. Like last night, I was learning a new stitch,
Uh,
and I was like, it was YouTube University, and I'm
right.
watching, and I had to slow that thing down. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. So you knit and you purl, okay, then whoa, what? And so he was watching it with me. No, you're doing that wrong. You see what she did? She did right there. I was like, okay, thank you. You know,
So now you can leave my craft room. No,
no,
but
I welcomed it because it really was getting on my nerves. I was like, this is not, I'm doing this. And he's like, no, that's where you missed it, right there.
oh,
Oh
okay.
yeah, you're right. You're right. Okay, thank you. Thank you. He said, because the camera is opposite. And,
That's
well, thank you, babe. Thanks.
so yeah, that's That's the upside when you guys both have your space. You could come together and learn both of you learn something.
Yeah. Yeah, I've taught he's gotten better on the embroidery machine. He's actually
Okay.
taken off that I can like give stuff to him like, okay, well you can handle that. You can
All
go ahead and do
right.
that. It's a beautiful
You're
thing.
hired.
Yeah, right. Cheaply.
So let's talk about the impact of community and social connection on our mental health, especially
Mm-hmm.
as Black women.
Mm-hmm.
So I know as I have a I have a I have a podcast coming up that I am going to be talking about, as we grow older, how sometimes we lose friends, but we gain other women or communities. We build other new communities. So for you, the impact of community and social connection, how does that help you with your mental health?
Yeah, and for people who have left for expats particularly, that can be a huge thing because you have left communities of friendships, of organizations, of coworkers, employment professions, all those kinds of things. You've left those things behind,
Right.
and you are now starting off in a new country,
Hmm.
often with a new language,
Right.
learning new customs, new traditions, new cultures. The whole kit and caboodle can be like, that
Right.
type of thing. And so I find that for many of us as expats, we definitely have to be um, proactive in reaching out, and
Right.
I am an introvert.
Yeah.
Lamar is the extrovert. So he has never
Right.
happened.
You're an
Never
intro.
happened.
Wait, you're an introvert, Angela.
That's what everyone always says. Yes. Yes, I am the introvert. I am actually very much an introvert. I
Wow.
am.
Okay.
I am. I am an extroverted introvert. Because I have a profession that takes me out of myself from time to time that I have to, and I can do that. But
Mhm.
my default mode is always introvert. And
Okay.
but that's not the way Lamar is. Lamar is extrovert and he
Okay.
is default mode extrovert. And so we'll be in the grocery store like,
You're
ah.
talking to
And he's
everybody,
like,
huh?
yeah, well, yeah, why don't you come on over? And but being very cognizant and very proactive in terms of that space. Even when we moved here,
Hmm.
I was very proactive because, again, Black woman hat. I'm thinking of my children. I'm thinking of my husband. I'm thinking of our dogs. I'm trying to make sure that everybody is making their adjustment to this culture and this life and this
Right.
this 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 beautiful country that we're living in.
Right.
And I'm worried about everybody else's, how are they
Right.
going to adjust? Okay, make sure my kids who were teens at the time, oh gosh, got to make sure they, are they okay? Is my husband okay? Are the dogs okay?
Right.
And all
Right.
that kind of stuff. I find that, and in doing so, it helped me to reach out and make connections with persons to facilitate the connections that my kids would need, that my husband would need, and that ultimately I needed in
Okay.
order to be, to thrive and be happy here.
Okay.
Yeah, and those community connections, those interactions, those cultural divides that we've bridged have been chef's kiss. It's just been wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. The family, the intentional tribe, as I call it, the
Right.
tribe, creating and cultivating my new tribe. And that's been great. That's been awesome. And learning new people, learning their stories, and
Right.
then finding out, oh, so we have so much in common. Oh my gosh, look at that.
Okay. Now,
It's great.
does your tribe out there consist of specifically other Black expats, or have you
I
also?
got a mixed tribe.
Okay, okay. So some of them are the folks that have already the natives, I'll say,
Hmm.
and then
Hmm.
you have the expats. Okay.
Hmm.
And,
Hmm.
and I know that's important. That was one of the important things for me, being that I will probably be moving to Portugal, alone.
Nice.
My husband will follow when he can, but
Hmm.
finding that tribe, finding
I got the tribe for you. I'm gonna hook you up.
okay.
In Portugal, great tribe, great tribe. Got it for you.
Yeah, because I have visited down there and it's yeah, it's beautiful. And I found that there are a lot of, Black expats, young and, my age. And that was very important to me because yeah, I will be in a totally different country without my husband at first. And that tribe is going to be very important for
Yeah,
my mental health to keep me
yeah,
saying, okay, I can, I don't have my husband, the person I've been with for the past 30 years. So I've got to find someone else or
yeah.
someone else's to kind of balance that loneliness and yeah,
Hmm.
like I said, mental health
Hmm.
while I'm out there. So yeah,
Hmm.
I believe community and um oh my community and just having that sisterhood is
Yeah, yeah.
very important.
And I find we take care of each other
Mhm.
in a different way, in a more communal way, because we know that a lot of us are here in this country without family.
Right,
All of our family is back some other place or what have you. And so, and when there's stuff going on back home that we can't always necessarily get back to,
right,
it helps to have someone here to just kind of, just hold our hand and just, help us through it in that
right,
way too.
right.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
becomes your tribe,
It
your
does.
cultivated tribe.
It
And so
does.
that's important anywhere, even if you are not moving anywhere, to find your tribe, the
Right.
people who you vibe with, because there are, the people who we are born into
Hmm.
may or may not be our tribe.
That's true. You're right.
They may or may not be the people
Right.
that you need to facilitate your growth, to help you improve or be as a better person. That
Right.
may not be your tribe.
Exactly.
And
No,
and
you're
sometimes
absolutely
that,
right.
as Black women, that sometimes is hard to let go of because, but
Right.
it also is, we have to at times.
Yeah.
This is a
Exactly.
dysfunctional, toxic relationship. I need to let this go.
Yeah. Right. And as
Mhm.
hard as it is, it's still you have to do it for your own mental well-being. So
Set boundaries
set
and
those
say,
boundaries.
I'm
Right.
not going to let
Right.
you talk that way to me.
Right.
No, that's not okay. That really is not okay with me. You know?
Exactly. Physical. What about our physical health, our physical wellness, playing in
Ugh.
our mental clarity? Because I know we sometimes only think of our mental health
Hmm.
as separate from our physical health, but it's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
So, I mean, how, because, with you being in that beautiful country, what are you doing when, taking walks, or what are you doing for
Yeah.
your through physical, for your
My,
mental health?
it's funny because I realized this probably when I was in my 20s. Um, I graduated from college. I graduated from college and decided that I wanted to adopt a cat. I wanted a kitten, right? My first apartment, I want a kitten. I've always had dogs, but I want a kitten, right? And so I go to the animal shelter,
Uh-huh.
and there's these kittens that are in a cage. And, the kittens were just kind of, how cats do.
Yeah, ignore. Right. Right.
you
Exactly.
know, not paying me any love at all. Just, I'm coming in to adopt this kitten, and I see this one little tiny runt-like kitten in
Uh,
the back. And as soon as I came to the cage, she perked up. She had these big, funny ears and these long whiskers that were just ridiculously too big for her little tiny face. But we fell in love instantly. Instantly, I fell in love with that cat. I was like, oh my gosh, I love her so much because she was the only one like, pick me. And I was like,
right.
it's you. Yeah, because the other heifers. But what I learned from that cat when we got her out and went, well, she's got this wrong and that wrong and this wrong and that wrong and all that kind of stuff. And I was like,
Yeah.
no problem. I'm gonna nurse her back to health
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff. And I did. Paid a lot to take her to and made sure she went to the vet and got her shots, and always anything was wrong, I made sure I took care of her well. So much so that I named her Mimi. because
Okay.
she was for Mimi, you
Oh,
know.
okay.
And so that taught me a valuable lesson because at one point in time, I'm adding up the vet bills. And I was like, well, dang, you spent more on this cat than you do yourself. And it and it was like ding, 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 ding. Like, oh wow, wow. Yeah. And I started recognizing the pattern. I do tend to do more for others than I do for myself.
Right.
Mm. I do take better care of other people than I do myself.
Hmm.
Ooh, I do look out for him or her or them or they. I do make
Right.
sure they go to the hospital, they go to the doctor, they take their medicine, they take, get exercise, they get this. Do I
Right.
do that for myself? Ooh,
Right.
yikes,
Hmm.
So it over the years, it has really been a concerted focus to I need to take care of myself
Right.
and and put myself, not just let it go, not just go, but to put myself in the forefront.
Right.
Living here in Mexico has been beautiful because we're able to afford healthcare in a way more affordable than back in the United States, oddly enough. And
Right.
so I've been able to go to doctors and, make sure that this is right, that is right, get a checkup for
Hmm.
this, oh, I'm feeling a little up. Let me go take it to, go to the
Right.
doctor and check that out and this, that, and the
Right.
other. And it's been an eye-opening love experience for myself to just take care of myself. Let me make sure I get my supplements and my
Right.
collagen and my, all of those things that help to make me a healthier person. Because at the root of it all, if I don't maintain and preserve my health, I can't do nothing. I mean,
Mm-mm.
it's great that I would want to, save the world, but if I don't take care of myself, I'm not going to be around to save the world or
And I
anything
bet,
like that.
and I bet being in Mexico, you are getting wholesome foods. You're getting,
Oh,
you're getting good, nutritious that you don't have to worry about, okay, how many pesticides have been sprayed on this apple, you
it's
know?
crazy. When we went to our local fruteria, that's the vegetable little tienda, little store
Uh,
that's not far from our home. The very first time we went in there, and I was getting some carrots. I mean, the carrots like have the stalks on them and the dirt. That I mean, like literally, like they just ripped them out of the ground, threw them on the truck, and brought them in the store. It's like,
right,
whoa. I mean.
right,
We're talking fresh, fresh. Yeah, oh, y'all mean fresh, fresh, or
right.
eggs with the feathers still on them. It's like,
And
egg.
and that's the one thing that when I was in Portugal, because I went to their, I don't know if it was their grocery stores, their fruterias.
Mhm.
And um we went in and we bought, 2 bags of groceries. I was floored, first of all, by the price because it was 20 euros. And I was
Oh,
like,
wow, yeah.
what, for two full bags? Are you sure you didn't miss
Right,
something?
right, right,
You
right, right,
know,
right.
but the eggs are sitting out. And
Yeah,
we left those eggs out because, they were sitting out. So we left the eggs out on the counter
right,
for a week. And,
right.
as we were eating them up, and I'm going, what? So, you're thinking,
Yeah,
what are we doing in America to
right.
our food source? What are
Yeah,
we
there
doing?
are a lot of foods that are existing, or a lot of things that exist, dyes and artificial things that exist in food in the United States that are banned throughout
Right,
the rest of the world. And so it's
right,
like, well, wait a minute,
right.
And I remember
Exactly.
the very first time we went to our bakery, our panderia.
Hmm.
Well, actually, a panderia is more for bread specifically. You've got
Uh-huh.
your pasteleria for
Oh,
treats and
treats,
sweet stuff or whatever.
good
But
stuff.
their sweet was not sweet. Like
Mm-mm.
muffins, we'd eat the muffins and be like,
Yeah, right.
very, it's not very sweet.
Because we're
Okay,
used to the
that's when
high
we first
fructose
came.
corn syrup here.
Exactly, exactly. But it didn't take long for us to get used to, okay.
Right.
So now when I go back to the United States, I'm biting into things like, yeah, it's there, this sugar, so much
Exactly.
sugar in this. Oh my gosh,
Yeah. So we
And
have,
yeah, so I've noticed Just in the food alone, being able to go to our bakery or our butcher because they've
Yeah,
got mom and pop type. We have
exactly.
a little fruiteria on the corner and a
Yeah,
butcher on the corner and all that kind of stuff.
right,
To be able to get those things fresh
right.
and not worry about, the pesticides or things that are of that nature that are in your food. I definitely feel a difference. Lamar and I lost weight when we first got here. Now we thought, okay, this can't possibly happen because we're going to that bakery every day. We're walking to the bakery every day
But
and
again, you're
our
walking.
fresh with our coffee every day.
Right.
So I was like, oh, there's no way. I know I'm going to smooth. And this is when we had just arrived and we were waiting for our shipment of our belongings to come to us on the slow boat. So
Right.
I was like, oh yeah, when my clothes get here, oh, child, I know I'm not going to be able to fit none of them because we are at this bakery every day. And when I say every day, I mean every day.
Sunday through Sunday through Sunday, huh?
Monday through Sunday, we at the bakery,
Uh,
first name basis, okay? But when our clothes got, and I started like noticing, wait a minute, this jacket is kind of loose, okay, or that's
okay.
these jeans are, hmm, huh. But when our clothes got here and the scale that came with it came, I was like, oh wow, I had
Yeah.
lost 20 pounds and hadn't even tried, wasn't trying at all,
Yeah,
had
because
lost
it
20 pounds like that just from being able to have fresh foods, fresh fruit. There's hardly, there are fast food places here, but not that
not that.
often would we find ourselves going to the
Right.
fast food because we would want to actually go to the local, restaurants, the
Right.
mom and pop stores that
Right.
had better prices, honestly, and
Right.
to go there that had food that was made and prepared in a fresher way
Right.
that didn't cause us to have to, gain the fast food weight. So we
Yeah.
found that right off rip was
Yeah.
like, okay. Then plus it doesn't help or it doesn't hurt that it's sunny out and the weather is mild. It's spring-like temperatures year round. So we were able to get
Mm,
out each and every day and go
go
walking or,
walk. Mm-hmm.
just increase our activity and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
So that made a huge, huge difference physically
Yeah.
in how I felt. So I'm able to get up and down the steps because I feel better. I can
Yeah.
run up and down the steps. And I'm looking at my 17-year-old at that time, my 17-year-old, like, girl, what are you? Yeah. We went what is it, zip lining
Oh,
in the
okay.
mountains in Puerto Vallarta
Uh-huh.
and climbed the mountain to go up to the top to zip line and my kids are I was like, tomorrow, like what?
Y'all keep up now.
Now,
Keep up. Mom's
come on,
mom's
right?
go, mom's gonna, lap you. Keep
Mom
up.
and dad are we up here. Where are y'all? Y'all got a rest? Okay. Come on now. Y'all got the new knees. You got the
Right, the new knees.
what's up?
But I do find that, talking about the foods, and my husband and I were talking about this because I'm like, we need to shed a couple pounds.
Mhm.
That with all the pesticides and all the, like you said, the dyes, those things are not digestible in our body. So if you
Yeah.
think about it, so is that causing inflammation in our body
That
where,
causing cancer in our body.
right, all the things.
All
And we
of it.
don't think about that. And yeah, grant and there are you have to be mindful when you're going out buying food here. It's like you said, it's not as easy, here in America as it is in places like Europe and
Yeah.
Mexico to find those foods that aren't going to be full of the processed, overly processed
Yeah.
colors and dyes and all that crap that's in it. So you have to be mindful. And unfortunately, it costs, even if you want the organic fruits and vegetables here or the grass-fed meat or
Right.
whatever, the free-range chickens, it
Right.
costs an arm and a leg. So it's
Right.
almost impossible, even if you just diligently say, I want to make sure that I'm eating the best of the best that I can get,
Right.
it's hard to it costs too much.
Yeah.
So it's almost like that's by design. You'll feed me a bunch of crap to keep me sick. And then, the whole snowball effect of
Right.
that. So,
Or redline me into a district that doesn't really have that many grocery stores so I could be existing in a food desert and then I won't be able to
exactly,
buy fresh fruits or haven't even
exactly.
seen a fresh anything in my local grocery store
Right.
and
Just cans
yeah.
of, corn and all that nonsense. But yeah, so as we say, the physical well-being, your physical well-being plays a huge part in, how your mind is operating.
And I can't stress enough how stress it really does age us. It
Mhm.
really, really does age
Yeah.
us. And I remember taking a picture of myself before we left while I was still working and all of that kind of thing. And now, mind you, yeah, I was going through a doctoral program at the time. I was working, was supporting a church and all kinds of stuff. Had a whole lot going
Yeah.
on or whatever. And I thought I looked cute that day. I was, doing my little selfie. Okay, let me do a little selfie. I know. But I go back and look at the picture and I look so exhausted and so tired and
Yeah.
just so I could just see the stress on my face just coming out. It just was like, wow. Ooh, wow. Yikes. I thought I was looking okay that day.
Right.
Compare and contrast that to 6 months later when and yeah, true, we were in the thick of or about to start the whole process to move and downsize and just life was just, whew,
Yeah.
life was a
Yeah.
mess at that time. Compare and contrast that to a year later, actually. A year later, and we're in Mexico and I happen to be on a boat and I look like I'm 10 years younger, but
Wow.
I know for a fact it was the stress.
Oh yeah.
Know for a fact. No,
Yeah.
absolutely for a fact that it was the stress that was just sucking the life out of me.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, we got to do something about this because this is not sustainable. This is
Right.
not good. This is not good. Yeah.
What would be some suggestions you have for women who are dealing with that kind of stress?
Okay, so first we have to identify where this is coming from, who or
What
what,
did you say? Who?
who or what it may be. Sometimes it's often as a who.
Yeah.
You know?
Right,
And
right,
figure, okay, well, how can I mitigate this situation? Because uh, at the root of it, sometimes it's codependency.
mm,
You know what I mean? That this
mm,
this codependent relationship that is not good, that I'm helping to facilitate this,
yes,
I'm part of the problem.
right,
And I need to just tell you no. No, I'm
right,
not. No.
right,
And let it fall.
and let it go.
And
Yeah,
just let it go.
yeah,
I'm not dealing with that. No.
yeah.
I'm not doing. No. I'm
That-
not going to do that.
And I think that's the hardest part. That first step is determining who or what
Hmm.
is causing the stress. Because I think
Hmm.
once you determine that,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, the next steps aren't necessarily easy, but at least you
No.
can start making a plan on how
Hmm.
to either get rid of, well, how to get rid of the problem.
Hmm.
Whether
Yeah,
that's
right.
again a person or a thing, how to
Or
get
how to
rid of
even
it.
deal with the problem.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Like I
exactly.
love my children. That's the disclaimer. I love
I always have that disclaimer.
love my young adult children. I love them dearly, dearly love them, honestly. And they often, as young adults, make decisions that
Yeah.
no,
Right,
and,
right.
and you say, no, stop, don't do, wait, don't do that. And oh no, I know what I'm doing.
Right.
I'm grown,
Right, right. Their favorite word, their
Uh-huh.
favorite phrase. I'm grown.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
grown. Okay. Okay. My husband and I decided that when the kids started to get grown,
Mm,
that we were going to really let them be grown.
yeah.
And okay. Okay. So you're making this decision. My one of my children, I won't say which, one of my children made a decision not long ago that the whole family was like, no, don't do it. But they wanted to do it anyway and all that kind of stuff. I went on record. I love you. I respect that you are grown and want to do this. I just want to say for the record, I think this is a mistake, but I honor your choice
Vision. Mm-hmm.
and I
Mm-hmm.
honor your decision
Mm-hmm.
to choose this and go in that direction.
Okay.
And I wish you all I want this to work out for you
Yeah.
and I hope it does, but I respect your decision.
Right.
And so go. And for that conversation was two ply, as I call it. It was a twofer because for him or her that needs to know that out there that needs to know that you can actually take your power back.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That you can take that back and
Mm-hmm.
not have it held hostage by somebody else's bad decisions.
Right.
That you can actually take that back and go, no, no,
Right.
no.
Right.
And for my kid needed to know that I trust that you are able to make decisions for yourself.
Right.
And I want you to know that regardless of which way it comes out,
Mm-hmm.
this is yours. This is your decision.
Right.
Mine
Right.
is yours. And so I give it fully to you
Right.
there. So then I let it go and decided that I'm not going to sit up
That's
and
about it.
worry and
Mm-mm.
stress out about this because I've given it to God, really. That's really what it
Right. Right.
was. I've
Right.
given that to God and I'm not dealing with that anymore.
Right.
And just that level of stress coming down was like, oh, wow. Okay. I've given that to God. I let it go. I'm letting him, God, that is, deal with and handle that situation.
Right.
And just that piece has just been so nice.
That's
So then when the kid calls and says, it's like, oh,
okay.
mm, mm. Sorry that didn't work out for you like that.
Yeah. I know
Yeah.
sometimes I know as a parent I want to say, I told you so.
I know,
But
right,
you're
right,
right.
right,
You have
right.
to you have to go, okay, well I'm sorry it didn't work out and then let it go.
Wow.
No
Oh,
lecture, no, I told you so.
right.
But none of that.
Because you know I told you so.
Right,
Yeah.
right. I'm sorry it didn't work out, but you're right. Letting that go, letting that stress right there go, because as a parent, as a mother,
Right.
you want to shield them from all the hurt and all the pain and all the
Yeah.
mistakes and like learn from what I did.
Right, right.
But
And you hope I mean, that's what you want. You want them to I learned this valuable lesson
right,
and I'm giving this valuable lesson to you
right,
free, no charge,
right,
so that you can get this lesson and don't have to go through
right,
what I went through.
right.
Sometimes they need to go through it
They do.
themselves
They
because
do.
just being given the lesson, it doesn't help them learn
And yeah, it might not resonate as much
as deeply as
as
it does.
deeply, right, as that hard knock that hit upside your head and you're like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's very true. Just letting it go, just saying, okay, I have got to give it to God or whoever your higher power is. I've
Hmm.
got to give it over and say, hey, I'm okay.
Okay. Okay.
And then
Okay.
truly let it go. Don't
And let it
ask
go.
about it. Don't,
Don't worry about it.
don't
Don't stress
worry
about
about
it.
it. Mm-mm, because there's nothing, yeah, sometimes there's nothing as a parent that we can do.
Hmm.
So that's very, yeah, I like
And
that.
I think back to the mistakes that I've made in my life and how those mistakes have actually helped shape me to who I am.
Right.
So I rest in that comfort also of knowing that these are some mistakes that are clearly mistakes,
Right.
but are things that may help them in their development or that God has in their development and plan to help shape them.
Right.
And it's not my particular choice
Right.
for them, or that wouldn't be my choice, but I don't know the whole picture. I don't know what God has in store for them. I
Right.
don't know. So for me as a mom, my first instinct is to protect, but then again, that is God, our Father. So He's got that protection instinct already built in. So I don't need to worry about that. So I let them go off and do and just give that to God. Because honestly,
Exactly. Exactly. No, exactly.
we could drive ourselves crazy.
Yes, we could. And I always look at sometimes as mistakes, as instead of looking at it as something as a negative, you
Mhm.
look at it as this is of course a learning
Right.
experience, but it's also okay to make those mistakes.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
okay,
What did I
and
learn from that? How did I,
right.
to keep making the same mistake, it's almost like you will go back to second grade and have to repeat second grade if you keep, if
If you
you
keep
don't
making
learn
those
the
right.
lesson the first time, you're going to have to repeat that grade
Exactly.
until you get
Exactly.
it.
Right.
And
And
so sometimes
exactly.
it's really just about, okay, what did we learn?
Hmm. Exactly.
What
Exactly.
did we learn from that? Okay. And sometimes you have to revisit a lesson because wisdom and time gives you a different perspective on it. So you can
Right.
look back and go, oh, yeah, not only did I learn this, this, and this, but also that, that, and that, you know?
Right. Exactly. No, exactly.
Yeah.
So, what are some out of the box mental decluttering techniques that we could give for our beautiful Black women?
Twerking.
Okay. And
That is out of the box.
that is out of the box.
But
So how does that
sometimes
work? How does that
you
work?
have to put on your jam. The headphones on loud and and just to your jam, just and just remember all the feels of the favorite music that you used to listen to, and just
Okay.
go back into that happy space time, and arch the back,
I like that.
you have
I
to.
like that. That is out of the box. I
That's
like
out of the
that one.
box.
That was
That is
out of
out
the
of the box.
box.
And especially from a minister, a pastor saying that. But it's true. Sometimes you
Sometimes.
have to just allow yourself the freedom to just
Yeah.
move and dance and
Yeah.
smile and laugh and be happy
Yes.
and in that way. Sometimes that's kind of cool. Um, just being able, I don't know if that's necessarily out of the box, but just finding the place that brings you joy and happiness. For some, it's walking through the woods, hearing the whistling of the leaves and the wind in the trees and stuff like that. Just
Yeah.
hearing that the whistle of the wind through the leaves. That's just sometimes that can be just a grounding, centering kind of experience if you're just feeling the presence of nature in
Right.
that, or at the beach and listening to the roar of the waves coming in, just hearing that kind of thing. Can't get there, can't find it, cool. There are lots of places on the internet that have it too. You
Yeah.
get listen to
Yeah.
soundtrack and
Yeah.
audio of the wind or of waves crashing again in the ocean and things like that.
Yeah.
Just
Those
kind
are
of
some of
take
my
you.
favorite sounds. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
good, so good, so good. Out of the box, for me, I love babies laughing.
Oh, okay.
Never fails. Never fails. I can find a video of and I don't just mean laughing. I love to hear when babies belly laugh, you know? It's
Oh,
so good. It's so
yeah.
good just to hear the babies with a good, kind of
Yeah, yes, yes.
guaranteed automatically to put a smile on my face. Automatically. And I don't care what I was stressing out about. I don't know what it, or it could be whatever it was. So people send me these days, they send me like,
Send
oh,
you
I
them.
thought of you. I thought you would enjoy this. It is like, oh, yeah, that was
Oh,
a good one. That was just babies laughing is just such
yeah.
because it comes from such a place of love and purity and joy.
Dorothy. Yeah.
That's what you're able to tap into, that just purity and joy and laughter, things like that. Just being reminded of the goodness of humanity sometimes in a stressful situation will make you feel better
Yeah.
about just what you're going through, just to see, yeah, that's a
Okay.
good thing, you know? People getting good news. They share those on social media a lot. People receiving good news or
Yeah,
things like that. That someone's announcing a pregnancy and the family is happy,
yeah,
or someone who is just finding out, or a son or a daughter who's come home from the military and surprising their mom or dad. It just you love to see things like that, and that kind of helps to center me back in a space of there's goodness in the world, and the small stuff that I might be sweating right now doesn't necessarily have to be sweated in the way that I'm doing it. And it brings me into a space of just personal um, clarity for understanding that it we gonna be all right.
we're gonna be all right.
You
Exactly. Exactly. So some of the ones that I thought of, like
didn't
I
think of
like,
twerking?
no, I didn't think of twerking. That was a good one. I didn't think of twerking, but that was a good one. Like I like candles. I like the smell of candles. So aromatherapy, but
Mhm.
scents that are tied to really good memories.
Ah, yes. Yes.
That I might be more difficult to find, but if you can find a scent that maybe has tied to a memory of when, like for me, would be when my mother was alive,
Yes.
going into her house and there was
My
just,
dad's favorite cologne
oh,
every
okay.
time.
Yeah, yeah.
Pick
So
it up and
those,
go,
yep,
mm,
right, right.
mm.
It puts you
Smells
in
just
that space
smells
of
like daddy.
great memories.
Mm. Yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Um, of course, and this is really isn't out of the box. I would say writing down your personal achievements and
Mm.
positive experiences
Hmm.
instead of doing a traditional journaling.
Yeah.
What are
Yeah.
some of your positive experiences or what are
Mhm.
some of your achievements? Just so you can remember that what you have accomplished and what is good about you. Because sometimes we forget to give ourselves compliments.
Yeah.
We forget to say, you know what, I'm not so bad, because
Somewhere. Oh, it's in the other room.
uh
I've kept a journal. I've journaled since I was 13 or 14,
oh wow, okay.
and I have all my journals.
Oh, wow, okay.
I have all my journals. And I can go back in them and I see, what young me was stressing out about and
Hmm.
who young me was stressing out about.
Right.
And just being able to, from the future, look
Hmm.
back on that and go, girl, ooh, child, it
Wow.
really helps to put into perspective some things that I blew out of proportion
Yeah.
and my tendency to blow things out of proportion at that time, which
Yeah.
helps me now not blow things out of proportion like I used to do,
Hmm.
that type of thing.
Right.
But it also helps me to remember times where God has shown up and showed out and that I might have necessarily forgot about. Like, oh yeah, all right. I forgot about that.
Hmm.
Yes. And so I make a concerted effort to try to journal those wins, those times where, that God has just completely answered a prayer or showed up or showed out and like, oh yeah. And
Yeah.
so I have literally journals full of times like that where it's
Okay.
just like, oh wow, yeah, I was praying about this thing and God answered. And I'm like, oh, right, right. Physical proof in my
Right.
hand, in my penmanship that sometimes often has tear stains on the pages. But, hey, now will my kids read them journals and talk about me like a dirty dog when I'm gone? Yeah,
Yep.
probably.
But hey,
But hey,
they'll get to see the whole mom. They'll get
yeah,
to
yeah, for
really
sure.
appreciate, what your experiences have been. So yeah. No, that's amazing. So I have one more question for you. What does it mean to you to be unapologetically 50 plus?
It means to walk in my eldership.
Mm,
That makes any sense.
yes.
When I was younger, of course, you don't talk back to your elders and
Right.
You listen
Right.
to your elders and you respect your elders and all that kind of stuff. And being 50% right now, I recognize that sometimes I don't always look at myself as an elder because I feel like a kid. I still feel like a kid. I'm
Right.
still learning. I'm still in a position of learning, and I don't ever want to not be in a position of learning because there's still the older you get, the
Mhm.
more you know that you don't know nothing,
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
and so for me, it's hard to kind of feel like an elder
Mhm.
because I very much feel like I'm learning. However, I also recognize that I've been through some things
Right.
and I know some stuff,
Right.
and life has taught me a lot. And that wisdom is expected, especially in our culture, to be passed on, to be passed down to the younger women who we mentor and who look to us as their elders. And so for me, being unapologetically 50 plus is to walk in that and know that you have something to provide, you have some wisdom to impart, you have something of value, and you are a person of value.
Mhm.
And to carry yourself in that,
Okay. I
to,
like
to
that.
actually carry yourself at that. One of the things that I've begun doing that friends have told me this for years and years and years and years that I just kind of like, yeah, 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 girl. But I'm coaching now. I'm actually coaching now. And
Okay.
many of the people that I've coached, um, at first I kind of stepped into it like, really? Me? You want me to coach you? Oh, okay, that type of thing. But
Right.
then it's a matter of after you're talking with them, like, oh yeah, child, let me tell, yes, yeah, I see why, yes, I see why God has brought us together because I've been through that, went through that, did that. I can tell you how to get through that. And
Right.
so, unapologetically 50 plus means I'm not apologizing for my needs and making my needs clear.
Mm.
I'm not apologizing for my boundaries and
Okay.
making those boundaries clear and what I will and will not do. And I'm not apologizing for putting myself first and taking care of myself. I'm not like, oh, that's so selfish. Oh, I can't.
Right.
I have to no, I'm
Right.
taking care of myself. I need to take care of me.
Right.
I do need to take care of me. So today, I am in my happy place. And I'm not apologizing for it. I'm not, oh, you should be out saving the world. No,
No.
today I'm saving me and I'm not
Love that.
apologizing for it.
I love that.
That's
Yes.
what that means.
I love that. I love that answer. So, Angela, beautiful name. Thank you so much again for joining me. I always appreciate when
We always have fun.
we do, we do. And I truly appreciate even though we don't talk every day or whatnot, I appreciate the sisterhood. And that's what this podcast to me was about, is the sisterhood
Mhm.
of, Black women 50 and beyond,
Yeah.
just learning, because I'm learning from all the women that come on here. I'm learning a tremendous amount of information
Mhm.
and just soaking up the knowledge that you ladies have given to me. So I truly appreciate when you guys come on and just come, just come on.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
truly
yeah, yeah, yeah.
appreciate it. So thank you again. So, you guys, that's it for today's podcast. Please remember, if you find any value and you enjoy this content, please remember to like, subscribe, hit the notification, leave a comment. Yeah, let us know how let us know how you declutter your mind.
Mhm.
I'm always interested in hearing how other women are taking care of themselves. So, again, thank you. Please. Oh, Angela, you said you're gonna make sure you send me your social media links so I can
Okay,
put them
yes.
in the description. So I want
Easy to
everybody.
find us. I'm on social media with my husband as Lamar and Angela,
Uh-huh.
where we documented our travels and our trip, our travels and our journey from leaving the United States to being in Mexico
Yes.
and living life abundantly. We set out on a search to figure out what that means. When the
Yes.
Bible says, when Jesus says, I've come to give you life and life abundantly,
Abundantly.
present tense. Well, what does that mean? And so Lamar and I explore those topics, and I shall show you what life is like here in Mexico. And
Yep.
then in other social medias, I'm Dr. Angela B. Martin.
Yep. And we'll have that information in the description below. So check her out. Check out their podcast because I enjoyed watching their travels to Mexico. So you guys check them out. So again, thank you guys, and I will see you again next week. Bye.